Hello, everybody, and welcome to the game-changing webinar series, speaking on all things careers and opportunities through vocational education and training. Now, in recent years, we've seen a significant shift towards a more integrated approach between universities and VET providers. And this collaboration is more crucial than ever as Australia faces rapid technological advancements, evolving industry demands, and a really dynamic job market. So the traditional boundaries between academic and vocational pathways are blurring. They're giving rise to new models of education that combine the strengths of both systems. So as part of the national initiative, or the University Accord as it's called, there is an increasing need for the vet and university sector to work together, to play nicely, to ensure that the next generations coming through and the current generations have the required skills that we need to build the economy. In this episode, we're going to delve into how these partnerships are shaping the future of education and employment in Australia, equipping graduates with the relevant skills necessary for today's and tomorrow's workforce. So, how are the universities and vet providers working together? What are the pathways? What are the options that are emerging? To answer those questions, I've got a fabulous team of a panel arranged for you, and we're going to begin with our industry expert. It's Coralie Morrissey. No relation to myself. Hello, Coralie.
Hi, how are you, Christina?
Not bad. So you're CEO of ASA, Institute of Higher Education in Sydney. Can you tell me a little bit about that one?
It's a private provider, private shareholders that own it. We deliver to higher education programs, undergraduate programs, postgraduate programs, and we deliver primarily to offshore students.
So that's what you're doing now. Your background is yay long. So you started in the vet sector, you moved into the uni sector and dual sector universities. In fact, you were one of the first, you were involved in the first dual sector unis, weren't you?
Correct. At Victoria University as the Executive Dean, looking after their construction management, all of their construction building areas, engineering and electrical areas. A phenomenal job, phenomenal opportunity.
All right, you've got a wealth of experience for us then to drill into about that harmonising and collaborating to make vet and higher education work together. Let's have a look at our vet ambassadors. We've got the fabulous Hugo Krieger from Berry in South Australia. Hi, Hugo.
How you going, Christina?
Hugo, what industry are you working in, mate? And the Hivies may give it away a little bit.
So I've been working in the construction industry for a few years now as a qualified carpenter, while also undertaking a construction management degree.
Which is a uni degree. Okay, so we'll talk about that in a second. And last but not least, we've got the fabulous Poppy Chambers based in Canberra. And Poppy, I believe you're taking a slightly circuitous route to your goal, which is to be a social worker.
Yes, yeah, that's correct. I did a school-based apprenticeship through year 11 and 12 and graduated last year with a goal to do some more vet studies before going to uni.
All right, team, welcome. The aim of this episode is to investigate how the unis and the vet sectors are working together to deliver vet qualifications and offer credits and pathways, very importantly, through vocational education. So Hugo, you've trod this path. You've gone and done your apprenticeship, as you mentioned, in the carpentry, and now you're also going to university. How did all this happen for you?
Well, I've always had my eyes on completing an apprenticeship, and I feel like I've started my journey in the construction industry from a young age. Both of my parents are in the construction industry and having their own family company. I've always admired the people working on construction sites, and the day I became eligible to obtain my white card, I felt like I was involved in incredible diverse industry, and completing my apprenticeship was, I guess, the best way to put my foot in the door to the apprenticeship and learn some incredible skills.
So then you've gone on to university. What have you added to your skills base? What was the aim there?
I had a university degree. In year 12, I considered a university degree in construction management. However, my father did mention to me that completing a apprenticeship first is going to put you in the best position for your future studies, and I guess the opportunities that come with apprenticeships are incredible. So completing an apprenticeship first and then going on to a university degree, I guess, gave me some incredible knowledge and, I guess, personal development. It made me a better person in the industry.
Coralie, what are the questions that someone should ask if they're thinking of doing what Hugo's done, following a vet pathway with a view to going to university?
I think it depends where they live, in particular where they live, what sort of course they want to do. They need to be aware of where they want to head, what they've done, making sure that they talk to to the provider where they want to go to of whether they recognise what they've done. So it's really important to know that if somebody's done an apprenticeship or a traineeship, school-based apprenticeship, school-based traineeship, diploma, certificate, they need to know that where they're going is going to recognise what they've done. And there's different ways of being able to recognise that.
Yeah, Hugo, I think your dad was onto something there when he was talking, when he gave you his bit of advice. I was thinking about that degree in construction management. I believe that you could have actually done that without those underpinning qualifications that you've got through VET. So does that surprise you, given your knowledge of what it's like to work on a construction site?
I see it in the university. I see people who are studying construction management really have no idea on what actually happens in the construction industry. And I guess completing an apprenticeship allows you to gain incredible understandings of a construction project. You learn how people work in the industry, how projects progress, and I guess how jobs complete as well. And most importantly, you learn a unique set of construction management skills that aren't taught in a university degree.
So how's that actually helped you in your uni study then?
Well, I'm actually to be honest with you, I feel ahead of the class. I feel like I know a lot more about the construction industry compared to my peers at university. I feel like I know how to communicate with people on a construction site. I know all those stages of how a construction site works, whereas the people in the classroom don't. So it has given me some incredible knowledge that I can take into my university degree as well.
So did the uni actually recognise the VET qualifications that you've got, formally or informally for that matter?
Not necessarily. I did bring it up in conversation to start with. However, it was sort of dismissed. But I did have a conversation last night with someone from the university, and they did mention to me that there are credits that can be taken for people that have the professional experience. And an example of this is in your honours, you have to complete 350 hours of work experience as such. However, because I've been in the industry for over 4 years now, I have that practical knowledge. And that can be credited. So there are credits that are there to be taken if you do have the knowledge. However, that has to be supported and be proven that you have been in the industry. So yeah, completing an apprenticeship, I guess, allows you to have so much knowledge that you can take into your degree. And, you walk out of a degree, you see people that go straight into a university degree from school, they don't have that knowledge that an apprentice does.
Coralie, let's just listen to Hugo's story there, where he didn't get that recognition. Now he's worked out how to get it for the 4th year. Well done, you. But the earlier recognition, does that frustrate you, or does that not surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me, and it frustrates me like anything. I think it's really important to recognise any skill sets that have come through from previous training or life experience that you've done. It's important for Australia's economy that we've got skilled workers of the future. And we're only going to get that if we're accepting what they've already been trained in and how they can actually transfer those skills into another career potentially, or alternatively recognising what Hugo's done, that he's already gone through and learnt those skills. He's already got that experience, and we should be recognising far more than just his honours program and doing his training from that side of it.
I think there is a significant opportunity for universities to integrate, though, with the vocational education training, because qualifications into programs in the future as well. And I think to be an apprentice, then combine university degrees with that is going to be very powerful.
It should be a seamless transition. It should be a lot easier to do than what's happening currently at the moment. I think there are organisations that are making it easier, and they're certainly moving towards change and making those changes in it. It's best to be able to look around to see what's the best way of being able to move forward and what's the easiest way for you to be able to get into that area. The education system's changed dramatically over the years. You'll find vocational education providers now are delivering higher education courses, and you'll find that universities have moved into the traditional VET areas by making sure that they've got diplomas that they can actually have the students do their own English language into diplomas, into their undergraduate programs. So I think the education sector has changed over the years, so it's not quite so disciplined from that point of view and divided, but I think there's still a long way to go.
I'm very conscious, Poppy, that you were sitting there very, very patiently, which says a lot about you as a human being. Thank you so much. So tell us about your career pathway that you're looking at. I mentioned social work at the start, and you said to us that you've actually only just graduated from year 12 last year. So how did you start on your VET pathway?
Yeah, I guess that it started a really long time ago when I was super young, and my older sister has cystic fibrosis, which is a chronic lung condition. And I spent a lot of times in and around hospitals, and I really saw the impact that nurses and doctors had. So from that, I knew that I wanted to get into health, and an opportunity came up where I got to do a school-based apprenticeship in allied health, which wasn't quite the nurses and doctors sort of side of things that I was interested in going down. But nevertheless, I decided to do it because I knew that vet was a good pathway for me and it was going to support me to finish year 12. So I did that, and from doing my certificate 3 in allied health assistance, I really saw what was out there in the allied health workforce, where I became to love social work and saw that that was a setting that I guess that would really suit me as a person. So from that, I finished my certificate 3 in allied health assistance in 12 months and went to do my certificate 3 in community services. I did that in 6 months while I was in year 12. And then from that, I guess community services is really in line with social work. So that lined me up really well to move forward into social work. And my goal moving forward is to do my certificate 4 in drug and alcohol and mental health, that which will fill in the stepping stones between my certificate 3 in community services and going to uni, which will give me recognition of prior learning inside of the social work degree.
Yeah, how does VET help you with the credit? Have you been told what credits you'll get at this point?
Yes, I've done a little bit of research about it and talked to one of the local unis here in Canberra, and they will recognise 2 points for me. So that'll take 6 months off my uni degree. And I guess it can change a lot depending on location and the particular provider that you go through. But for me, that was the conversations that I've had so far.
Coralie's nodding her head.
Yeah.
Any advice there, Coralie, since we've got you in the room? Can Poppy use you as a private consultant for a moment?
It's a good move. And firstly, I need to say that not everybody wants to go through a traditional pathway in secondary school. And so you need to recognize that what Poppy's not by herself. There's a lot of people out there that don't want to go through and do a normal 12 years of high school. They want to be able to get out there and do practical experience or get into something right from the beginning. So making that decision and doing it at school as a school-based one and being recognised from it, it's a really good alternative for students that feel that way. It also gives them the opportunity of being able to move into something they can get into very quickly and give them the motivation to be able to keep moving forward. Certainly from what Poppy's just said, she's made all the right choices in the courses that she's done. Being able to do it and change directions in the certificate 3 to certificate 4 will give her some really good opportunities of being able to get recognition from not just where she's talking about, but other providers if she decides to go elsewhere, and being able to recognise that the two different aspects give her a better range of being able to get the recognition of prior learning.
Poppy, is it going to take you longer to complete this end goal than it would have done if you just gone straight into uni?
I guess that's up to a personal perspective. For me, if I went straight to uni, it may have been a little bit quicker, but I think I would have come out on the other end with a lot less experience and I would have been a lot less confident and comfortable in the work setting. But in the steps that I've chosen to take, I've made a lot of really good relationships with people and connections. And I know that on the outside of doing my social work degree, that there'll be many places that I can go and get a job. Where if I didn't do it the way that I done it, that my network would be a lot smaller and I don't think I would feel as confident or comfortable.
Yeah, and again, it's that life experience, isn't it, Coralie? You cannot put a price on that.
And I think it's really important to know that the pathway that Poppy selected has a massive amount of hours of work that must be done out in industry placement because they cannot get their qualification without that. The background that she's been doing and the network that she's building up is going to be extremely helpful when she gets to that particular stage.
Hey, Hugo, you've obviously been around the traps for a few years now. You're qualified, you're doing your uni as well. You'd worked with a couple of employers along the way. What's been their reaction to your skill set?
I think having an apprenticeship behind you, as well as, I guess, undertaking a construction management degree or any type of degree, you've worked from the ground up. You know the fundamentals of what actually happens on a construction site. So I've got that skill set now of, that practical knowledge that people need and people want.
I would say your employability has been suitably enhanced by your decision.
Yeah, and I think that's offered to you by an apprenticeship. There's so much demand for, people to complete an apprenticeship and people to complete construction management degrees as well.
Coralie, we're not all lucky enough to have you in our back pocket. I'm sure you've been told this before by people, but how does someone find out then if their university offers credits or where they should go, or should they be at only at one campus? Can they split things up? How do you actually find out this information before you've done what Hugo's done and it's too late, you don't get a credit?
Unfortunately, there's no one single place that you can go to. It's important to look at whereabouts you live, whereabouts you're looking about going to college or to a university. You need to think about that. You need to think about what it is that you want to do and check out who is doing that in the region that you live in or you work in, because sometimes it's quicker to go directly from work. So looking at those and then start to have conversations with them about what can you get recognised for what you've done. Particularly important when it comes to the practical experience, because not everybody recognises your practical. Well, we all know that it's really important to have practical skills in any job that you're going into now. It's employability skills. And a lot of your soft skills are transferable into any other course. So it's critical that you talk to the people that have got those courses and don't just look at one provider. Shop around. It's like when you're going out to buy something, you always look around what else is there. Do the same with your education. Look at what else is out there and what somebody else will give you.
Hugo, now you've got this far down the path, what's the feedback been like from your family? Your dad gave you that initial advice all those years ago. What's their observations now?
In year 12, I considered just going straight to university and completing my construction management degree. But my father did say that the people in the construction industry with the most knowledge are the ones who have been on site and who have completed an apprenticeship. So having those type of skills are just got great to set you up in the industry. So I think it's very important.
Yeah. And Poppy, what about you? Do you think, I mean, you're newly minted, as it were, from high school. You had the choice, you said university or the VET pathway. What's the I suppose the attitude or the thought process of other students of your age towards those two streams now? Is it changing dramatically?
From my perspective, 100%. I was really, really lucky that the close circle that I had around me, a lot of my friends also chose the vet pathway, with a lot of them doing whether an apprenticeship in plumbing or a trade or childcare or business. So everyone around me was doing a very similar thing. And I think it's really unique to see now where we all are compared to some of those who didn't do the same pathway and where they are. So I think that that's a really unique experience that I see. And I guess now on the flip side, an arm of where I work is a GTO, so a group training organisation, and I work with 21 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander trainees who are doing their Certificate 3 in allied health assistance now. And it's really interesting to talk to them about where they want to go and how this is helping them, where a lot of them want to go in different ways to where I want to go. But being in a situation where I can help them figure out what that pathway looks like for them.
Coralie, have you got any last thoughts?
I think it's really important that there is always a lot of talk about go to university, and you've got people pushing go to university, go to university. I come from the vet sector originally myself, and sure, I have university qualifications, but I come from the vet sector originally. I think I get a lot of phone calls from friends of family and children of friends and family as well that say to me, oh, my son, my daughter didn't get the scores that they want, and they desperately want to get into this one, but they can't get there. And I said, yes, they can. There's another way of being able to get into it. And you have to look at what that way is and get the right guidance.
And they'll be more employable at the end of it anyway, because they'll have better experience and better
Absolutely.
skills.
The critically is you've got to remember that employability skills are critical to industry employers. That's what they want. They want the soft skills and the employability skills. They want you to walk out with a qualification that allows them to start using you straight away in that job. They don't want to have to wait. They don't want to have to train you again. They want to make sure that you can start that job. They're paying you. They want you to be able to do that job. I think that's really important to do. And it doesn't mean that universities haven't got that. Doesn't mean that private providers, higher education providers haven't got it. But shop around and look for the people that have got that so you can make sure that you're employable right from the word go.
Coralie, great note to finish on. Team, thanks so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. Now, if you'd like to do some more research of your own into this topic, I cannot give you Coralie's phone number. So I know many of you would want it, but what I can do and what we've done is we've provided some websites that you can use to get more information from at the end of this webinar. So make sure you check out our other episodes as well. Strongly encourage you to do that. They've been really interesting to put together. Our VET Game Changers webinars, they're there for you as a resource for your future career and training pathways.